I was a new student at Southern Lehigh High School in Pennsylvania, starting my junior year. It was tough not knowing anyone, especially at lunchtime when I had to eat in the crowded cafeteria. Most tables were full, but there was one with two boys sitting alone. I hesitated but walked over and asked if I could join them. They were identical twins, Antonio and Bruno, and they seemed friendly. They invited me to hang out later that night, so I agreed. After dropping off my things at home, I got a text from Bruno to meet them at a nearby cemetery at 9 p.m. It felt strange walking there alone, but I was eager to make friends. When I arrived, Bruno told me to head into the woods to find them. As I walked deeper into the dark, I suddenly heard footsteps behind me. They were slow at first, but then quickened. I felt a hand grab my neck, choking me. I managed to break free and ran as fast as I could back to the road, heart racing. I told my parents what happened, and they considered calling the police. Instead, we reported it to the school, and with the help of Bruno's texts, the twins got expelled. My parents made me block their numbers for safety. About a week later, I woke up to a cold breeze and found my bedroom window wide open. Confused, I closed it and went to my parents' room. They hadn't opened it. As I walked back to my room, I noticed my door was half closed. I pushed it open a little and gasped. Someone was hiding behind it. I screamed for my dad, who rushed in just as the door slammed shut. He ran outside to look for anyone but found nothing. A few days later, the police came, but without proof, they couldn't help. They suggested we lock our doors and think about cameras. I spent months jumping at every little noise, convinced it was the twins. Looking back, I wonder why I was so eager to meet them in the woods. I should have known better. In freshman gym class, an older substitute teacher made me uncomfortable when he stared at me. He took attendance and then left us to play volleyball. When the period was over, I couldn't open my locker. The sub came to help but kept laughing every time he failed to get it open. His hand slid from my shoulder down my back, making me uneasy. I pulled away, saying I needed to catch my bus. Just then, the lights went out. I hurried to change in the dark. As I walked toward the exit, I spotted him peeking around the lockers. Panicking, I ran outside into the pouring rain. Later, I realized he might have changed my locker combination to trap me alone. I felt too scared and ashamed to tell anyone. One day during lunch, I went to practice my saxophone in the basement of the music department, which always felt eerie. I started playing games on my phone until the light suddenly went out. I heard something being dragged nearby and strange, heavy breathing. I froze, then saw a figure moving in the darkness. Terrified, I hid in a storage room, heart pounding. I felt someone near me, and then suddenly a hand patted my shoulder. I bolted for the door, escaping just in time. Mr. Nicholson called security, but they found nothing. The rest of the period, I nervously told my story to my classmates. One night, my friends and I decided to sneak into the school basement through a broken window. We crawled through and explored the dark, dusty halls. It felt creepy, and I kept thinking someone might be in there with us. When I went into the bathroom, I heard a voice that wasn't any of my friends. A stranger was peeking at me from a stall. I screamed and ran back to the basement. We scrambled out of the window, breathless and scared. As we looked back at the school, we saw someone's face pressed against a window watching us. We ran away, hearts racing, never wanting to return.